Oh, baby, it's cold outside. It's Tiffany's content, and let's talk about it. Those temperatures dropped last night into the morning, and it was cold outside this morning. Let's take a look at those current watches. Yes, that winter activity is over there in California, like I've been telling you all week, as well as coming out of Canada into Minnesota and Wisconsin. And look at that ice in Florida. Let's look at the current temperatures right there in that Great Falls going into the Colorado and into the mountains. You're going to see some very cold temperatures. Look at that. That's where all that cold is. And even the snow, that's where everything is happening at. Right there in, West Coast going up into the mountains. Definitely cold over there. And it was cold this morning as well, but this is your current temperatures for today. And this is what it feels like. 0 over there in the mountains. It felt like 40 degrees this morning in Florida. And look at that. The south, 30 degrees in Texas. It has been cold. And then, of course, in the Midwest, you get the 20s and the 30s. But just look at the West Coast, too. It felt cold for everybody overnight and into the morning. I'm telling you, those temperatures dropped, and they will continue to drop overnight and into the morning for the next few days. Let's take a look at the current map. And you still have that mixed precipitation coming up out of California and turning into snow and rain, and definitely had some flooding activity yesterday. So make sure that you're aware of that. And it's still, heavy precipitation over there. You got some snow coming out of Canada into Minnesota and Wisconsin. And then you also have that heavy rainfall over in the East Coast that's, left over from that cyclone that was whipping through. And looking at the amount of precipitation, you're going to see just where that rainfall is currently at right now, still to this day. It's still raining over there in California. They even had some flooding, like I said, overnight, but it's also going into Oregon and Washington as that, atmospheric river is whipping through. Then you got some rain in, Wisconsin and Minnesota and the upper East Coast. But this is the total precipitation for the next few days. And look at that. Lots of people are going to have a washed out new year. The streets are going to be clean with this rainfall that'll be coming for the new year. Let's take a look at that action for today, and you're going to see just where that rain and snow mixed precipitation is coming up out of California and also Washington. And then there's also some coming up out of Canada, turning into snow, going into the Great Lakes and up the East Coast. Let's take a look at the day temperatures for today. Things are going to start mellowing out, calming down as that cold front hit overnight. But look at that. The day temperatures are going to be more moderate for the south and actually warmer in the, Midwest and into central. But then you're going to get that cold air in the mountains. And look at California. It's definitely going to be warmer throughout this day. But that's that pneumonia weather. Take a look at that other video I did. Cold, hot, cold. It's definitely something to be aware of. And look, right into the night, it's going to drop again. Those temperatures are going to drop even more. And it's going to feel even colder. So those cold and feel like temperatures definitely changes throughout the night because it's going to feel even more colder. But this is what we have right now, and it's actually warmer than it usually would be during this time of year. Over there in California, you're going to get that warmer temperatures with that atmospheric river coming through, and it's just a different time of year. But let's take a look at that frost freeze temperature. This is what we felt overnight into that morning. Some of this turned into ice down deep in the south. That ice even reached, Florida. So right now, I'm telling you, this is where all that frost freeze temperature, it whipped right down through the south and over into that East Coast. That is a huge amount of, frost freeze temperatures that we felt this morning, and everybody got a piece of that in the United States. Where is that current snowfall right now? So this is where the snow is currently at. And so basically this is, leftover snow from, previous days, but you got, 17 inches in some areas, 24 inches in the mountains over there, but then you get the ones and twosies over there over in the East Coast and in the Great Lakes. But this is what we have for the current snow depth. Let's take a look at the new snowfall, and we're going to see just some coming up out of Washington going up into the East Coast, just about an inch or so. And then there's some also coming up out of California that you'll see as well. And then you'll see, flurries that's trying to make its way through the Midwest that's coming out of Canada going into Minneapolis and Wisconsin. So this was in the last 24 hours, and the next map we're going to see is going into the next 48 hours. So this is where the snowfall will be at in the next 48 hours. And you can see that it's, the new snow basically. But the other snow that we saw on that current snow depth, that'll probably still stick around. But this will be the new snowfall. So you see some coming up into Maine and, that coming up out of Washington, D.C. And then also that, pocket in California over there. So there's still some snow around, but will it stick for the new year? With that rain coming in, we have a lot of rain coming for the new year. Let's take a look at that, current surface map. And you can see just where that cyclone is trying to come up out of. It's like over Tennessee, almost into Kentucky a little bit, but it's definitely working its way out and up into the East Coast. So you're going to see some cold and icy temperatures up there in Maine. But again, they're all used to it and they're probably loving it, to be honest with you. But look at all those cold fronts in the ocean, in the water, and the mixed precipitation. So, hopefully that'll, stay out of the United States. But you can see right there in Florida, there's, like a cold front and warm front that's meeting up with each other and bringing some precipitation down there in the Keys. So, but you can see that this is where most of the precipitation is, and it's right there hanging along that East Coast, just, trying to work its way out, bringing that cold front and trying to push it into the Atlantic. And then you're going to see that snow trying to come up out of Canada into Minnesota and Wisconsin as well. But, this is what we have. Looking at that West Coast, it's starting to ease up a little bit. That front is starting to move its way on into the United States and work its way out of California. But you can just see that there's another one right behind it. So we're just going to watch it and see just how big of that will be. It's a lot of mixed precipitation. It's not a swirl, but it's definitely some rain. And you're going to see that following a lot of precipitation. So it looks like California will be having some rain throughout the new year and into the new year. So, this is just what we have. And of course, you're going to see Oregon and Washington with that, rain as well. This is the sky cover for today. So you're going to see a lot of clear skies, but it's cold, man. That 90% is is the gray area. So it's up to 90% in cloud cover. But looking at the action now, this is going into the new year. And this is the Happy New Year right there. And this is all we have. A little bit of snow, a little bit of rain coming into, Florida. But this is, the biggest talk right now. It's cold outside. Yes, it is. So make sure that you're dressing appropriate for the weather. It can be tricky. It can get warmer throughout the day. Then those temperatures will drop throughout the night and back into the morning. So make sure you're dressing appropriate. Make sure you like my page and share it. I love doing the weather and I love sharing it with you. Okay? It's Tiffany's Content. Like, share, subscribe.